You're listening to the Platte River Bard.
Hello, and welcome to the Platte River Bard. This is Chris Berger.
And I'm Sherry Berger.
And we are here at Mills Masquers, and we are talking to Don Torbett. He is the music director. We're talking to Adam Clayton. He is the associate director. We're talking to Don Vinkenberg. He's the choreographer. And we're talking to Connor Edick, Spongebob Squarepants himself. They are doing Spongebob Squarepants, the musical, and we are here to talk to all of them. We're in the middle of the stage. We're surrounded by the set. We heard a little bit of the rehearsal. Everybody sounds great. Thank you, gentlemen.
It's very oceany.
It is very oceany. Thank you, gentlemen, for talking with us this afternoon after a sort of a long day of rehearsal.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
And rehearsal sounded really great.
Yes.
Thanks.
Everybody's sounding really good. We were sort of hiding out in the lobby there.
Yeah. Nice harmonies happening.
So, let me hit the music director here first, Don. What compelled Mills Masquers to want to do SpongeBob, the musical, and is this your first experience with SpongeBob, the musical?
That's a great question. This is my first show actually at the Mills Masquers. Adam and I did a production of Beauty and the Beast a couple years ago at the Wilson Performing Arts Center in Red Oak.
Cool.
And he sent me a message in middle April and said, hey, do you want to come audition or music direct? And I said, well, yeah, I'd love to music direct this show. I actually saw it on Broadway back in 2018.
Nice.
When I was in college, we did a concert out there. And so we had a night off and I went and saw it. And you know, when you're in New York and you think, what shows do I want to see? You think Lion King and you think Phantom when it was still open. Sure. Hamilton was huge.
Right.
And then there's SpongeBob.
Yes.
And so my friends and I are huge SpongeBob fans.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, it's like my mom says it's, my generation's Looney Tunes. We quote it all the time.
Absolutely.
And so we went and I was blown away. I mean, the music is amazing. And I'm not usually a fan of jukebox styles musicals where it's, all this music was written by so many different big name, like Aerosmith wrote a song, yeah. John Legend, the Plain White T's wrote a song, Cyndi Lauper, Sarah Bareilles. And so I love the music and I wanted to, work with Adam again and I'm glad I did it. So I'm glad they're doing it.
I wasn't aware this is this sort of technically a jukebox musical then?
I would consider it a yes and no. It's kind of like in the like a gray area because it's not necessarily a jukebox musical, but when I think about like the big musicals, you think of when people are writing the music, you think Andrew Lloyd Webber, you think Stephen Sondheim, sure, yeah. Leonard Bernstein. When I think about a jukebox musical, like you think about Mamma Mia, where all the music was written by ABBA, and then they just adapted it for the stage, or Crazy for You, where it's all Gershwin music. Yes. This was kind of in a gray area because it wasn't necessarily one orchestrator or arranger. It was just a bunch of different pop. I mean, and they have Nickelodeon. It's Nickelodeon.
Oh yes.
So they can throw money at anybody. I mean, Panic at the Disco wrote SpongeBob's Huge Ballad, which Connor just knocks it out of the park. And getting to work with him has just been great. He's phenomenal. This is only his second show ever.
This is your second show ever, Connor?
Wow.
Yes.
Now, okay, and is this your first show with Mills, or is?
This is my second show at Mills.
Okay. So your first show was at Mills as well?
Yeah. We did the Addams Family for my first show. I was one of the ensemble members. I was a French Revolutionary War soldier, I think, and I was one of the ancestors, so I was like a ghost.
Sweet. Now, did you do any kind of theater or anything in school, or did you just decide, hey, I'm going to go audition?
No, my first time ever doing theater actually was last summer for the Addams Family because my partner at the time was like, hey, you should come do theater. So I said, cool, I like show choir, maybe I'll like theater.
Yeah. Do you have theater at the high school here?
We do, but I was never a part of it.
Just show choir stuff? Yeah.
I never thought that I would like theater, to be honest.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you do.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody seems to be pretty happy with you as SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Now, let's move over to our associate, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Associate Director Adam Clayton.
Hello.
First time directing in any capacity? Or
Directing at this scale, yes. I have directed a stage reading before, and I will be directing shows at. I'm a student at Northwest Missouri State University.
Oh, yes.
So I'm involved in theater there. I'm a theater performance major, so I will be directing shows there during the fall and the spring. But yeah, this is my first time directing with a musical or anything of this scale. Yeah.
I have directed some smaller things and some smaller plays and stuff like that. I have no experience with musicals. What did you not expect that is now happening to you that you have to deal with because it's a musical?
Well, I guess a big thing with musical is that it feels like a baton toss a lot of the times, or like a relay race more where, you're in charge of like this part of the show and then you go and hand it off to the music director or the choreographer.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of directing with musicals feels a lot like project management as opposed to just like if you were directing a straight play and you just have, the full control over everything the entire time.
A really good description of that. Yeah, because everybody has their departments, music department. And speaking of choreography, my friend Don Vinkman, who we just got done doing a very, very dramatic play here a while back, Radium Girls, where we almost got into a fist fight on stage. It was fantastic.
That we did.
That was fun.
And so now I know this isn't your first rodeo as far as choreography.
No, I've been doing this for a few years.
And did you go to school for dance and stuff like that? Or?
No, I went to school for theater and directing, and then I just fell into dance, and I've been there ever since.
Okay. Now, is this so it's not something that you actually got trained for, just something you sort of had a knack for?
Yeah, I'm completely self-taught. I've never taken a dance lesson before, so everything I've learned is through like YouTube or just working with other friends. But here I am.
That's great.
Here I am. Yeah.
That's great. You found something new.
Yeah, it was kind of like an escape for me. I had a rough time in my life, and I just found movement was very freeing. And I just stuck with it, and I started making stuff, and I was like, hey, I want to try this. So I started choreographing, and I did one show that turned into another show, and now I'm on my 7th or 8th show. So we're going.
That's great.
See, because that is totally not how I met you at all.
No,
and I'm
no,
just
no,
having a
not
hard
at
time thinking of you as a choreographer.
He's an awesome choreographer.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. No, it's just that,
I saw him.
we
He was
related
doing
on a
great.
completely different level just a few months ago.
I mean, our interactions during that show was just so different than what this is. So
I know. It's
much
night and day.
different scale. Yeah,
I know.
absolutely.
And Spongebob is just fun and hilarious and great fun music.
It means you're versatile.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Versatile. That's what we all
Versatile.
like to be, isn't it? Now, actually, Adam, now, of course, you have doing the associate director thing here. Have you done the acting thing, or have you just been on the production side?
Oh yeah, I've done. Acting is mostly what I've done.
Okay.
In the past, I've done shows out at the Wilson Performing Arts Center over in Red Oak. I've done shows at Omaha Community Play. Well, a show at the Omaha Community Playhouse. I was in Hello Dolly, which ran earlier this summer.
Oh, let's say that was the one that just closed. Okay. Oh, excellent.
Yep. And then of course I've done shows at pretty much ever. Since growing up, since I was like 8, I've done shows at like middle school, high school, college, and then Mills Masquers is actually where I got my start doing shows when I was
Nice.
about 8 years old. Yep.
Oh, cool. It's neat to come back and direct here and be part of the production. That's got to be cool.
Yeah.
It's
Do-
so,
yeah,
it's
go
so
ahead.
fun to see the difference between, growing up with it and then finding it later. And
I know.
finding new things
Yes.
about it that you like. And
For
that's-
sure.
I like that.
Because Connor is sort of brand new to the whole thing, and yet we heard him. He's killing it in rehearsal as far as singing and stuff like that. We really have a sort of a nice little mix here.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I find that's very true with theater. It's like, well, this is my first show. Well, this is my 100th show, and everybody does such a great job. And have you found that being an actor has helped you at all, being an associate director, or does it make it worse?
I think it definitely has helped a lot because you're very easily able to put yourself in the shoes of the actors on stage. You can tell when maybe they're feeling a bit awkward with something that's going on with like the blocking or the way a scene is being staged, or you can tell when they're really feeling it and getting into it. And it also helps because you kind of know if you were in that situation, what are the words that you would want to hear or the advice that you want to get from a director. So it makes it really easy working with the actors.
Now, I know you're doing the music directing thing this time around, but you did mention whether you were asked to maybe audition or do music directing. So you've also come at it from the performance side as well, I'm assuming.
Yep. Yeah,
For sure.
I would say I maybe got into theater, I was in middle school.
Okay.
And one of my best friends at the time, when I was growing up, and he and his whole family have just become really close with my family and me, Jared Sherman. I spent the night at his house one night, and his dad was listening to the musical The Full Monty, which should never be done unless you want to get people to walk out of your show, for obvious reasons for the finale. And
Sure.
if you don't know what that is, look it up maybe in incognito mode.
Sure.
But, I listened to it, I'm like, man, this is awesome. And, I grew up, my dad's a huge classic movie fan. And so
Okay.
I grew up watching, a lot of those old classic musicals like the Rodgers and Hammerstein, Oklahoma, South Pacific.
yeah.
Like he introduced me to all this stuff, and I didn't really know what it was. And thanks to the Shermans, it just took me down a path of just falling in love with theater and musicals, really. I'm more of a musical guy than straight plays. So
Okay.
I did musicals all throughout high school, and then in college, I did most of my community experience came from the Wilson Performing Arts Center, and that was my home away from home outside of high school, and so I've done a lot of productions. The last time I was on stage was for the Wilson's production of Jekyll and Hyde, the musical. Nice. And I played Jekyll and Hyde. And,
Cool.
and that was probably my favorite role I've gotten to play. That was just exciting.
Oh,
so
man. I have not seen the musical. I have seen the play, but I have not seen the musical.
I feel like when I see SpongeBob the musical, I see it as a children's play more often. And I think we've cast adults in this particular production.
Yes.
So that's kind of an interesting thing for me, because most of the time I see SpongeBob Junior or something like that.
Sure.
It's true, yeah.
So
we've seen that.
how does that translate for you?
Well, if you've ever watched the show pre-2006,
Yes.
you will know that a lot of those jokes, like the old jokes, the ones that I grew, it took my mom, probably a year or two into SpongeBob being on the air before she said, okay, fine, you can watch it, to let me watch it. And so some of those jokes make it back, but if you watch it, it's like a lot of kids' cartoons where it's not really for the younger kids, but maybe like elementary, like middle, like getting into middle school. So I think the smart thing about it is when you have older actors, because I wouldn't say it's all primarily adults. Connor just graduated high school.
Okay, just graduated.
Caitlin Widger graduated high school a year ago. She's playing Sandy Cheeks, and she's doing a great job.
Cool.
She's doing, so it's kind of like a big, broad range of age, and I think it's good to do that. I think the big thing too, if you look at the script, and Adam and I talked about this a lot when we started. When you read through the script, it's a very serious story. I say that as a SpongeBob show, because if you ever watch the movie,
Sure.
Or seen anything about SpongeBob, it's really not that serious. But it's a story about. It starts like a regular episode of SpongeBob, and then oh my gosh, they find out this volcano is going to explode and kill everybody in town.
Oh no!
And so there's all these hijinks that happen in town, but SpongeBob chooses to try and figure out a way to stop the volcano from erupting. And so he enlists Sandy and Patrick to go on this quest to climb the mountain and throw in a machine to stop the volcano from exploding. And so I think, not to say that, younger actors are incapable of getting through some of these more emotional scenes that happen in the show, but it just, the emotion that needs to be portrayed, like Squidward gets bullied in the show, and John Olson, who plays Squidward Tentacles, does a phenomenal job of bringing that part to life. And so I think when you ask a lot of those kind of tougher things on a younger actor, it kind of can get a little overwhelming for some. So, but yeah, this is a show definitely for everybody. Bring your kids, but there are plenty of jokes for mom and dad. And
like Bill SpongeBob, it's like my daughter was born in '92, so she grew up watching SpongeBob, and it was one of those cartoons that the parents could actually deal with watching with their kids, because some cartoons it's like, okay, I can't watch this, but here, you go ahead, I'm going to go do something else. But it was like, ooh, time for SpongeBob. And we would always watch SpongeBob. But were you a lover of SpongeBob growing up, or did you have to kind of do a crash course on SpongeBob?
Oh, heck yeah, I love SpongeBob.
Excellent.
As a kid, I would always love to watch it. My mom would always be so disappointed that I was watching SpongeBob. She's like, why would you watch that dumb show? But then after a while, I found that she started watching it with me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was one of the greatest things about SpongeBob is that pretty much everyone could enjoy it. I remember Whoopi Goldberg was on TV like every week talking about how much she loves SpongeBob.
But I have to tell you, I saw this awesome costume once. It was a kid's costume, and it was like a couch foam, like the foam part of the couch, and they had taken the cheese parts out, you know, where the little dents are, and painted it, and they put the kid in it, and his face was in the middle of the couch thing, and his arm, and I was like, that has to be so uncomfortable and itchy, but he looked great.
Oh yeah.
That's what matters.
He looked great.
Yeah.
No, I made my daughter a SpongeBob costume one year. Yes.
So what does your SpongeBob costume look like? I have to ask.
Oh yes.
Did they
Well,
put you in a foam couch?
Luckily, I do not have to wear a box. I will be more so dressed as SpongeBob than actually looking like him.
Okay, fair enough. So you don't have to literally be a square piece of foam.
Yeah, I think the two closest costumes that get to as closest to as the cartoon is probably Mr. Krabs, because he's got big old gloves on, and then we put John, our Squidward, in the Squidward legs, and so he's got to walk around like Squidward, and so I think that's probably the closest we get to some of the cartoon designs.
That's what I was going to ask because of all of the strange costumes and Squidward stuff. Any special considerations for the choreography here, Don?
So there's a hip hop number, and we had to take Squidward out of that song because his legs couldn't adjust to it.
Oh wow,
And,
fair.
I already knew in mind that he was going to have 4 legs, so it was really easy to just know okay, he's just going to be adjusted for this start of my start of making the choreography. Yeah. But we did learn the hip hop, and it just ended up not working out. So that was fun to learn.
But he does tap.
Yep, he does tap. He has his own
He does
solo
tap
number.
with the tentacles.
Yeah, that's what's really cool about this show as Donnie, the Dons. There's 2 Dons.
The Dons.
That's
That's,
right.
that's what we've been referred to.
Yeah, Donnie the Don.
The Dons.
To backpedal off what he was saying, every song's made by a different artist, and so that's what makes this musical so interesting. Is with the normal musical, like Beauty and the Beast, for example, all the songs are kind of structured the same way. They're all a little bit different, but the style is in the same way.
Right.
But with this one, you have some the variations are insane. You got a hip hop number, you got a tap dance number, you got a Souls choir number, you got a contemporary number. There's just a whole bunch to work with.
It's a melting pot,
It's a lot. So choreographing it was hard because you have to take yourself out of a mindset of one style and then put it in another. And I had to learn different styles too, and so it was very fun, very interesting. But this show is such a big scale. I don't think people realize when they do SpongeBob how big it's going to turn out. But
Yeah, that's what I understand.
it's so
You
big.
think this is one of maybe the bigger sort of scale type productions that Mills has done?
Yeah, I definitely think it has been scale-wise. I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to, join up and help out with this show was because I just knew the scale of the show going in, having done it at my school the year prior. So.
Cool. Oh my God.
So it is probably important to note that you are using live accompaniment with this production.
Yes.
Yeah. We've got 9, I think. I'm not good at math. I'm good at music math. So Susan Steinecke is our accompanist, and she's amazing.
Cool.
And I can fake my way through a piano, but she can tickle the ivories very well.
Nice.
So we've got her on the keys, and then my drummer at my church, at my job, he's coming to play the set. He's bringing his friend to play guitar, and then we've got Leslie Hill's coming to play flute. Michelle Bacher's coming to play cello. I've got a couple students from University of Nebraska Omaha coming to play violin. One of the castmates' siblings is coming to play trumpet, and we've got Gary Roach coming in to play Squidward's big clarinet solo and play in sax. So we've got a bigger pit, I think, than maybe we've had here, especially for that size. It's a smaller pit area, but there's plenty of room below. It's kind of like I started calling it my dungeon today.
So you're on a little bit here? Okay.
Yeah. So we've got it's fun. I mean, this is my 3rd show I've gotten to music direct outside of college, and the last 2 shows I did, we used a click track, and I knew coming into this, I wanted to use live musicians because I just think it's better for the cast. You know, when you're kind of chained to 10 music, like on one hand, it's nice because your performers get to hear what it could be like someday if they decide to try and go for a big, like, make it on Broadway. It gives them kind of a taste of it. But when you have live musicians, you're giving your actors and your performers the opportunity to have the freedom to really relish in the moment instead of, you know, kind of boxed in. And so that's just what's been so much fun with this. I mean, Squidward's big song, there's so many like big holds that, you know, John just lets it rip. And, you know, if we're using tinned music, we have to time it out to the millisecond, and I can just sit there and with my hands waiting just for him to go on. So it allows the cast to just really shine, I think.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of live music as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not there's anything wrong with the canned music and all, because, I mean, that's the thing. It's consistent. It's always going to be that good every single night.
Exactly.
And there is an advantage to that. But I'm a bigger fan. It's more organic. And you can, like you said, if you have some cast members that want to do a little extra, take a little time.
Well, and they deserve to.
Yeah, exactly.
They absolutely deserve to.
Especially if the audience is into it. Dude, milk it. Milk it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So do you want to talk a little bit about the dynamic between music director and associate director and how you maybe did some handoffs with that piece?
You guys fighting?
No. No, I love Adam. He's the reason I did the show. Adam is the sole reason I did this show. I respect the guy a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this show is kind of like some musicals that it's primarily all music.
Is there a lot of heavy music in this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few scenes here or there that there really isn't a lot of like singing going on, but there's still a lot of underscoring that's happening. So basically what we do and how I think a lot of productions go is the first 2 weeks, you know, I really it's always good to dive into the music first to get their feet wet before you start adding the blocking and you add the choreography. So probably the first 2-3 weeks of rehearsal, you know, the Dons were trading off, you know, couple nights it would be music, and then the next day it would be choreography and then some music, you know, and then when Adam wrapped up Hello Dolly, he came in, and then it just kind of came into, okay, what are you doing tonight? And then we'll do this. So when he's blocking on stage, I'd be out in the lobby running, you know, solo songs or working with the ensemble and just helping them get to a point where they're comfortable enough to close their books and let her rip on stage.
How about you?
I mean, it's basically been the same for me of just, you know, coming in here. I'm after closing Dolly, so I've been, you know, able to be here a lot more frequently ever since that show ended, and it's just, you know, it's been pretty smooth handoff between doing music and then blocking, and then, you know, then it just comes together on stage. It's, you know, it's really special.
So you get notes. So an actor would get notes from all three of the people here.
Yeah.
Or hopefully no notes
None
at all.
There will always be notes. There are always notes. Always notes.
Once you reach a performance, you have to stop giving notes. So,
yeah,
you know.
because it's
Fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough. Now, Connor, so far, and, you know, this could always change, especially once the audience gets here. So far, what is sort of your favorite song to perform so far?
My favorite song's probably SpongeBob's big hit, Just a Simple Sponge.
Just a Simple Sponge.
I remember when I got the text from our director asking if I wanted to be SpongeBob. As soon as I found out, I said yes, and I started listening to the whole soundtrack. Yeah. I listened to that song, and it actually made me tear up. It has a really powerful message in it.
So are you expecting a lot of kids to come to this production? Do you have kids' prices? I know this is kind of a summer musical. It's a good time for families to come out together.
We're definitely advertising more towards families, but I think we're going to get a large range
Everybody.
of like young to elder.
Yeah.
I think it will be a big community, every age. It just it's such a good show, and like as they were saying, there's some like hidden line adult themes in the show that like adults will get, and there's some mature parts, and like Connor's song, his solo, that's pretty heartbreaking and like with real emotion in that. So I think everybody can connect to the show. And so I think we've been trying to advertise for every age, not just one group. So
it's nice. It's nice to see it's sort of holding to the how the cartoon
what
was,
it's
where
really like.
It always struck me as anybody can watch this, kids and the adults can watch this, and everybody loves it.
But there's a lot of callback to the original SpongeBob movie that came out in 2005. I mean,
cool.
SpongeBob is still wanting to be manager of the Krusty Krab.
Of course.
And, you know, SpongeBob comes up with this big plan, and Mr. Krabs is like, no, you're just a sponge. You can't be a manager. You can't save the town.
Sure.
And you know, I think about the movie. I mean, that was SpongeBob's driving force, was to save Mr. Krabs, this guy who doubts him. I think everybody has gone through a point in their life where someone they look up to doubts them. You know, Patrick wants to be heard and feels like he's talked over. And, you know, Mr. Krabs and Pearl, you have that father-teenage-daughter dynamic where the kids don't want to listen to mom and dad anymore. And so you get to see that come to life too.
Sure.
So there's just every storyline with each character I think someone will relate to, one way or the other.
Oh, that's awesome. But the first time I heard that they were doing SpongeBob the musical, I was like, really? and then all the reviews and all the people that have done it and gone to see it, they're like, no.
Go
This
see
show
it.
is
Blew my mind.
What you
Oh, yeah.
do is
Yeah.
great.
It was Tony nominated for a reason.
I know, and then I got all the Tony nominations, so I have yet to be able to see it, and I'm going to have to come see your guys.
So
Please do.
yeah.
Yes.
So the dates are
Yes,
August
give us the dates.
2nd through the 4th and the 9th through the 11th.
There we go.
Yeah. So you have Sunday matinees.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sundays are the matinees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
This
nice.
is coming up soon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Let's say you guys got what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, we
Less
start
than
tech
2 weeks?
next Sunday. Yeah.
Less than 2 weeks. Tech is Sunday.
Yep.
Tech is Sunday. Next Sunday.
A week from today.
Oh, baby.
Well, you got a good start on the ocean here. This is awesome.
I know, the set is great.
A
And you
woman,
can hit each other with noodles.
woman named Jeannie Lorimore, she did our set, and
She did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Phenomenal job. I mean, Gary's hiding behind one of the curtains, but I think she made that herself.
Yeah, she
yeah,
did.
It's
In her kitchen,
Awesome.
yeah.
On a skateboard.
wow.
Yeah, so it's awesome. It's great.
That's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
For a little theater, you have a lot of stage, so that's great that you can do
Yes,
all the different
we
things.
do.
with
I
it.
know. That is one of the things. Yeah, is that this is a full stage up here, and I just love it.
Because you don't really roll in anything, probably. It's
There's a
all
few
just-
little things that roll in. Like there's
Yeah.
a scene where SpongeBob and Sandy decide to try and climb the mountain, and you know, so we have that come to life with theater magic.
Yeah.
You know,
Theater
so it's
magic,
awesome.
baby.
It's great. Yeah, it's fun.
Imagination.
That's right.
That's right. There we
Yeah,
go.
Imagination.
There's the SpongeBob voice.
Connor does it so well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I wish you all the success. I think it's going to be a lot
Thank
of
you.
fun.
Thank you.
Yes, break all of the legs. I'm very excited. I'll have to come see this. This will be my first time seeing SpongeBob, so I'm very excited. I'll have to come see you guys.
Yeah.
There may be a song or two from the TV show that appears. So
Awesome.
buckle up.
People will like that,
Yeah.
for sure.
I love it. That
Awesome.
and, that and Mr. Krabs is one of my favorite voice actors anyway, so I'm a big fan of Mr. Clancy Brown. So. And I may, like pirates. So there you go.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much. Thank you for inviting us out here to talk to you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having
Yes,
us.
thank
yes,
you.
can't wait. And
Come see the show. The cast is phenomenal.
like I said, break all the legs on SpongeBob.
Yes.
You guys,
Thank you.
Have fun.
you guys sound great. So
Thanks for
Thanks.
talking to us.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
SpongeBob the Musical will be opening at Mills Masquers in Glenwood, Iowa, and it will be performed August 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Sunday shows are at 2 p.m. Friday and Saturday shows are at 7:30 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at millsmasquers.com. You can also make a reservation request through their website. Don't miss SpongeBob the Musical. Thank you for listening and supporting the arts in the Platte River area and beyond. Please subscribe to our podcast so you are sure to catch all of our future episodes and join us on social media. See you next time on the Platte River Bard.